I hope you had a good night's rest. It's Freedom Friday. It's Forgiveness Friday. It is Fabulous Friday. It is Friends Friday. Um, my name is Anissa L. Wesley. This is my YouTube channel, and this is Faith and Footsteps, where we put our feet to our faith, where we talk it while we walk it, and we walk it like we talk it. Uh, my name is Anissa L. Wesley. My life is a testament to God's goodness. I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I'm a best-selling author of the book, Please Excuse My Brave, Overcoming Fear and Living Out Your Purpose. Um, I am a therapist. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. So many things in life. But a lot of those things all kind of come from my desire and my gift of encouraging people. Um, so that's something I'll share too. Sometimes your purpose is attached to the thing that you just do so naturally, but other people, are not, they don't think that that's just something that's normal, right? They think that it's, wow, I can't believe you do that. Like, how do you do that? That probably is your gift. Um, and also probably your purpose. So it's something to pray and ask God about if you're dealing with not knowing what your purpose is or not knowing where your giftings are. Start at things that you already just do well, right? Things that you already just do well. Um, I'm very empathetic, but I didn't know that empathy is actually a learned behavior. I just thought it was everybody has empathy, right? No, that's not true. You learn empathy over time, um, through experiences, and then some people are gifted with an extra portion of empathy, right? And so I just want you to look at your life and write down some of the things that, hey, my neighbor, you're like looking at this, you're looking at things that people do. Their garden looks so nice. Very distracted by God's beauty today. But I'm gonna lock in. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. I hope that you will subscribe to my YouTube channel. I hope that you will stay a while, be encouraged today, and maybe you will take something with you. Maybe you can share this with someone who may need an encouragement. Um, my business is actually called Brave Encouragements, so that's what I do. But anyway, that's not even why I came on here today. But I felt led to just talk about purpose a little bit because sometimes we misinterpret what our purpose is. Oh, as a Christian, I believe that everybody's purpose is to worship God, to bring glory to Him, you know? And then we all have our individual purposes that God gives us. So things that we're good at, things that, we just, sometimes you may not even be good at it, but God has called you to it. So that's the thing too. But anyway, we've been talking about newness. We've been talking about renewing the mind, uprooting thoughts. Um, we've been talking about uprooting, rerouting, and rerouting, right? And I was just, in the word this morning and in Colossians, where he's talking about putting on your new nature. And I just thought about that. Like the other time it talks about putting on is um, in Ephesians, where we're putting on the whole armor of God, right? And then there's times when you take off the old nature. You put off your old nature and put on your new nature. And some people are like, well, what's your new nature? And, as a believer, as a Christian, it's um, the fruit of the Spirit, right? So in Galatians 5, read that whole chapter because it talks about first the the things of the flesh, the things that we're not supposed to be bearing fruit of anymore once you come to God. And then the second half talks about the fruit of the Spirit, right? And so once you put on your new nature, then you should begin to bear the fruit of the Spirit. And the fruit of the Spirit, there's 9 of them. There's love, joy, peace, patience. You see, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, gentleness, faith, and self control, right? And so those are all the 9 fruit of the Spirit. And I believe that the fruit of the Spirit is within us when we accept God, when we accept Jesus. But as we continue on our spiritual journey, we're going to begin to see the fruit manifest, right? So if you're looking in your life and you're not seeing the fruit manifest or the fruit mature, then maybe you haven't put on your new nature, right? So, and I'm not talking about being perfect because nobody's perfect, right? I'm definitely not perfect. You know, there are still areas in my life where I want to bear more fruit, right? But when you make a decision to put on your new nature, then you start to see those fruit more often, for sure. Um, and if you're not seeing those fruit in your life, you can go and ask God, like, what the problem is. You know, you be like, it's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me, right? Um, or maybe there's something else going on, right? Maybe you're not spending enough time with Him. How can you bear the fruit of God, bear the fruit of the Spirit, if you don't spend time with Him? Ooh, let up on me. Um, how can you do that? You can't, right? It's like it's like planting an apple tree, but taking care of it like it's an orange tree. You're not going to see the same results. So I know nothing about planting trees. It could be the exact same. I have no idea. But I'm just saying what you put in is what you get out, right? And so, um, and we've been talking a lot about thoughts, right? Your thoughts, how your thoughts kind of in your mind look like trees, and how we can uproot certain trees in our minds. Those thoughts come from trauma. Those those reactions come from a place of trauma. Those cycles that you get into that are unhealthy or unhelpful, And that literally kind of rear up against the fruit of the spirit, right? Those are the things that we're talking about. Um, those are the things that need to be uprooted, first identified, right? Because you cannot really uproot something if you don't know it needs to be uprooted. So identify it first. And I think that's something too. Like, are we willing to learn the truth about ourselves? Because when you go on a fast, when you go on a consecration with God, you're spending time with Him more. You're fasting. You're putting down your plate. You're seeking His face. A lot of the times, He won't show you somebody else. He'll show you you, right? And sometimes it's really hard. It's really hard to see those parts of yourself that are still healing, right? So, but it's okay because that's the whole point of it. Nobody in this on this earth is ever going to be done transforming, right? We're in a constant state of growth, of transformation, of healing, of learning. And when you get to a point in your life when you no longer feel like you need to learn, you're in trouble. Trouble, right? You're in trouble because when you're in that state of you feel like you've made it, like you're just so good, you got this. That is the time when it's really time to evaluate. You know, I have a master's degree. You know, I have a lot of things going for myself, but I know that I'm still a work in progress. I understand that. I identify those things and also allow people in my life to identify those things for me or with me. Um, so maybe there's people in your life who you can go to who can see those things that maybe you are blind to, so to speak, right? And also, that's what fasting does. It takes the blinders off. Things that you were once blind to or couldn't see in yourself because you're fasting, you now see those things. So fasting is powerful. Fasting is powerful. Um, Jesus fasted. The disciples, I believe they fasted once he left. Anybody that was looking for breakthrough from God fasted. Mm, that's so good. So put on the new. And sometimes it can be hard because your old clothes, you ever put on like a new pair of shoes or like a new shirt and it's nice, but maybe because it's so new, it doesn't have that comfort yet. Oh. Um, right. I believe that, and I hear you in here, Joey, but like what I'm talking about is actual like fasting where you don't eat for a period of time and it's spiritual, right? Getting off meat is powerful too, but I'm talking about like a fast towards God. Um, but yeah, when you put on that new thing, sometimes it's uncomfortable at first, like the shoes. You got to break those bad boys in, right? You got to break them in sometimes. And so the new nature, what I'm trying to get at it here is the new nature is going to be, for some, uncomfortable. And your knee jerk reaction when you're first starting out is going to be to go back to that old familiar pattern, right? So the harder thing to do is to remember I'm a new creation in Christ. I no longer, you know, this is no longer how I think. I used to believe like that about myself. I used to think these ways. I used to respond these ways. But now that I have been renewing myself, I put on my new nature, right? So I think it's a process sometimes too. It is a process. It's called, you want me to use like a super um, theological term, it's called the process of sanctification, right? Once we've been invited into God's kingdom, we're healed. I mean, we're completely new creatures. Old things have passed away. Behold, He has made us new, right? But now it's the mind that we have to kind of catch up to the spirit. It's- and that's the hardest part, but there are ways that you can set yourself up for success with that. And that is what I talked about before, which is learning how to renew your mind. Because before, it looks like dogs. Hmm. Try to hurry up and cross the street. But before, you were able to think a certain way, act a certain way, be a certain way. And it felt normal. It felt new. It felt like this is just how it is. But with the new nature, it's human. I will say it like this because I feel like I'm misinterpreting what I'm saying. I don't want it to be misinterpreted. Um, just because you have now been made new does not mean you won't be tempted to go back to the old ways, right? But being tempted is not the same as doing the thing. Thinking about something is not the same as doing something. I'm not condemning anybody's thoughts or anything like that. It's just you have to be prepared and knowledgeable that no matter what um, I'll say, no matter where you are, that it's going to take time for the new nature to kind of like kick in, I guess to say. But that comes with that time spent with the Lord. You got to put in the work, right? A seed doesn't grow overnight. Woo. Hello. Like a seed doesn't sprout overnight. We're using trees as an example. Sometimes it could take weeks, months, years for a tree to start growing up, you know? Uh-oh. So you have to give yourself time. You have to give yourself grace. You have to give God grace too, or God time too. I was like, give God grace. Never said that. That's not what I meant. You have to give yourself grace, right? Things take time, but it also takes work. A seed is not going to grow if you don't water it, right? Whatever you had to uproot, it takes time to clean it up. I read this book by Dr. Caroline Lee. She has another book out too that I need to read, but cleaning up the mental mess, right? Because once you uproot something, you still got to clean it up. And then you have to replant something new. Then you have to nurture that something new. So I hope that you guys understand where I'm coming from and that regardless of where you're at, where you've come from, that you make a decision to put on the new. Put on the new. It's a journey, but the other option is to stay the same. Keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Somebody called that anxiety, not anxiety, insanity. Right. So let's do something new. Let's not go for the old, same. Congrats on the win. So, all right. Thank you guys for joining today. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Make sure to share this with someone who needs it, needs encouragement in their purpose, in their walk as a new person. You just decided to stop something. You decided to change something about yourself. You need God's help. You know, I have a whole playlist of faith and footsteps that is meant to encourage people in their walk with God. Buenos días, señora. ¿Cómo está? Muy bien. Muy bien. Yeah. Adios. Yes, thank God. I know I spoke a little Spanish, huh? Me español. Anyway, I will talk to you guys hopefully tomorrow. If not, I hope you are well. Hope you remember that you have everything that you need to live your life bravely. You can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. And God, God, capital God, has not given us a spirit of fear, but one of power and of love and of a sound mind. Take care. Bye.